Welcome everybody to Atlanta Motor Speedway. My name is Josh Hall. You're watching the Vinci Broadcasting. This is the Extreme Forces Racing League here on iRacing. We got we got practice just finishing up right now. And currently at the top of the board, Jacob Bowen with a fast 30.91. Chris Wheeler right behind him with a 30.92. So we got some fierce competition up at the front at the speed starts right now. Right now we're taking a look at Joe Wright getting around this tricky slick track. Atlanta like to call it. This track is fast, it's slick, not a lot of grip, and we're going to see some great racing here tonight. Let's take a look at our points though after last week at Talladega. And Chris Wheeler currently still at the top of the board. Brady Floyd though not too far behind, knocking on that door. Then we got Joe Wright, Jacob Bowen, and Prince George in top 5. Jimmy Green in 6, Eddie Morris, David Wright, Tyler Aspinall, and Austin Green round out your top 10 with Josh Carver just barely hanging outside that top 10 right now. So anything can happen though here. So far looks like you got 14 cars that are going to take the grid. This one should be an exciting one tonight. Thanks for joining us tonight, whether you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, or Twitch. We enjoy you guys coming out with us here tonight. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. And don't forget, we've got the chat wide open too. Let us know who you're pulling for here tonight. Let us know who your favorite driver is. Let us know who you think is going to win. As always, we do have our stage break coming up at 20% of the race, which will be lap 15 here tonight. Stage points and bonus points will be given out at that time. So we got about 45 seconds left in practice here. Again, I'd like you to come out and join us here tonight. Tonight's race is brought to you by Edit Edge Photography. Check out all your photography needs. Edit Photography. That's all the other cars still left out on track. John Deere country there, that McLaren looking ride is a sweet job. Everybody knows me, I'm a sucker for good looking big job. Colors on the stock car look absolutely amazing. I figure you guys would enjoy a little bit of extra music there as the race went on. So practice is currently concluding, and we're going to get ready to go into qualifying. Let's see who the first car out on track will be here tonight. And it looks like Bryn George is one of the first cars to hit the track. Bryn out of Martinsburg, West Virginia. Ooh, has some trouble getting back on the track. Again, we just mentioned it's a really, really slick track. And even leaving pit road can be treacherous. Stoney Benfield also on track. Tyler Aspinall, Jacob Bowen, Chris Wheeler, Joe Wright all on track right now. Joe Wright just leaving pit road, but as I mentioned, Bryn's one of the first cars to come out on pit road, so we'll follow him for his qualifying attempt. Trying to get as low down on that white line as he can. Trying to take the shortest way around the track. Brings it right back up against the wall down the backstretch. Trying to get as much momentum and arc as much as he can in the corner to keep the speed up. Here I'm working that throttle a little bit too, and something I noticed in practice, the driver's really modulating the throttle, trying to keep that car underneath him. We're going to see a lot of that tonight as we saw a little bit of A bit of side drafting as well in practice. So this could be an interesting race. Even though short field doesn't mean it's going to be short on excitement, so stay tuned. It's going to be a great race. Sprint comes through turns 3 and 4. Washes up the track just a little bit as he comes off the corner and to the stripe. That lap's going to be good enough for second currently. So we take a look at Joe right here. We'll ride along with Joe. Hear how much he's modulating the throttle going through the corner. You hear him just had to break the throttle just a little bit to keep that car underneath him as he comes across the line. Put him up into the pole currently. So a good lap for that 82 machine. Eddie Morris out on track. Another driver who was fast earlier in practice, choosing the high line here on his entry, on his opening lap. Trying to wind that car up and get as much speed as he can. Now gets the car down to the bottom through the corner and tries to keep that momentum up off the corner. Again, Atlanta, old surface, bumpy surface. I know it's being repaved now, but we still have the original configuration. And you're able to see just how bumpy and slick this track really is. Eddie Morris currently up into the 10th position on his opening lap. Hugs that white line. Tries to keep up as much speed as he can down the backstretch. As he comes through turns 3 and 4, again, right down onto that white line. And across the line, and Eddie Morris will jump up into the 6th position. Dave Wright just jumped up in the 5th, bumps Eddie back to 7th. Rob Hamilton's on track right now, working his second lap. First lap put him in 12th position. Let's see where he is here on this second lap as he comes off of turn 4 to the stripe. Oh, almost catches the grass down there. Tries to get as low as he can. Rob's going to move up into the 8th position. As qualifying is just about to wrap up. It looks like Adebauer's on pit road, but not going to make a qualifying attempt. And that's going to do it here for qualifying. So we'll take a look at your starting grid. And starting on pole tonight is the 82 of Joseph Wright, with Stoney Benfield and the 75 to his outside. Row 2, you'll find the 7 of Bryn George and the 45 of Tyler Aspinall. Row 3 and 5th will be the 24 of Dave Wright, with the 20 of Brady Floyd to his outside. Then Eddie Morris in the 8th. He'll be rolling off 7th, with Rob Hamilton in the 5 rolling off in 8th. Austin Green rolls off 9th, and Josh Carver rounds out your top 10. 11th will be Chris Wheeler, with Jacob Bowen to his outside in 12th. Eddie DeBoer in 13th, and Stan Mayberry will round out the field. As we get ready for 75 laps here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Again, thanks for joining us here tonight, whether you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, or Twitch. Do appreciate you spending your Tuesday night with us. Don't forget to drop a like, follow, and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help us out, and we do appreciate it. So cars start to roll out for their single warm-up lap. Don't forget to join us tomorrow. We're going to have the Mayhem Modifieds rolling off at 8 p.m., followed by the SCSRA Xfinity Series. And tomorrow, the Xfinity Series will be at Talladega Super Speedway. I'm sorry, tomorrow they'll be at Atlanta as well. So, Talladega in a couple weeks. So, join us tomorrow night for some more racing from Atlanta here on Intensity Broadcasting as the pace cars getting ready to pull off. Joseph Wright's going to lead them down to the starting zone. See Stony Benfield laying back just a little bit. Green flag is in the air. We are racing here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and a great jump for Joe Wright down on that low lane. Gets a little bit of a push from Bryn George, gets him out to the front. Stony Benfield has Tyler Aspinall all over his back bumper trying to move him forward. Oh, we got one around already. The 20 of Brady Floyd is around on the backstretch. The Corona machine and the yellow flag is out on lap 1, and that's going to bring up our first Wreckage Rewind of the night as we take a look and see what happened between, it looks like, Brady Floyd and Rob Hamilton. Oh, it looks like Brady just got loose, comes down into the 15 of Austin Green, comes back up the track in front of Rob Hamilton, who gets a load of the underneath of Brady Floyd's car. Looks like everybody else is able to go through. You see Jacob Bowen sneaking through there. Just those two cars involved. Dan Mayberry sneaks on through. So that's what brings out our first caution flag of the night. As the pace car leads them around. And I wonder, even though it's only lap 1, we may have a couple cars dip down the pit road and try to top off here. Run a little bit of strategy. But Joe Wright leads them down the front stretch in the 82 Mustang. Couple movers already. We see Chris Wheeler currently in the 8th position, already up 3 spots. So in 2 corners, he was able to gain 3 spots right off the bat. Brady Floyd, though, so far the biggest loser, losing 8 spots, currently sitting on pit road trying to get that damage fixed. Doesn't look like he wants to use his reset just yet. Looks like he's going to get that thing fixed up and get back out there and hold on to that reset as long as he can. Lights on the pace car are off. Joe Wright's going to take that inside lane. But Bryn George on the outside. That's going to put Joe's brother Dave right behind him in the 24 machine. Stony Benfield back in the outside. And Tyler Aspinall and Eddie Morris round out your top 6. And Brady Floyd still on pit road getting that thing fixed up. So he's hoping for a couple cautions that might get him his lucky dogs. Currently 1 lap down and still sitting on pit road, so he may go multiple laps down here. As the pace car gets ready to take that hard left-hand turn on the pit road, onto pit road. Joe Wright's going to lead him back to the restart zone. Green flag is back in the air. We are back racing here at Atlanta. And again, a great jump for our leader. Leaves Bryn George on the high side. Well behind him as Dave Wright's going to move up into the second position. Here comes Tyler Aspinall in the 45, trying to move himself up into third. Now he's going to jump up to the high side, Dave Wright. Hopefully you get a little push here from Bryn George. As the field rockets through turns 3 and 4. Eddie Morris up. Oh, catches the wall just a little bit. Able to hold on to it. No harm, no foul as he's going to continue on. And Joe Wright's going to lead the first lap under green. You see Josh Carver in that 3 machine slowly moving his way through the field. Methodically moving his way through the field. Currently up into the 5th position from where he started in 10th. And using a little bit of the side draft to try to move himself forward here. It seems to be working for him as your top 4 are pretty much getting single file here trying to pull away. And that's going to move Carver solidly into the 5th position. Our points leader, Chris Wheeler, in a tight battle here with Stoney Benfield and Austin Green as Tyler Aspinall now looking to make a move for the lead. He's underneath Dave Wright, trying to take that second position away. And here comes Josh Carver now underneath Bryn George, trying to take 4th away from him. That 3 car has come to race tonight as he is making some moves and trying to get himself up to the front. Meanwhile, while that's going on right behind him, Jacob Bowen now drops down that low lane behind Chris Wheeler, trying to move himself forward as well. And, the 15 down on the apron, Austin Green, really loose all by himself, able to hold on to it. No caution. As the field makes their way into turns 1 and 2, and we see Josh Carver and Chris Wheeler now back on the bottom side, trying to get around Bryn George as they come down the backstretch. Jacob Bowen has fallen back to 8th as he was right here in the mix with these guys. Dave Wright now makes a pass for the lead, and Joe Wright's going to cross him over coming off of turn number 4 to retake the lead. So Dave Wright will not lead a lap, trying to get those bonus points. Now a little bit of side draft in between brothers. Tyler Aspinall's got the little bit of help here. He's able to give a little push. Now he gets shuffled down to the bottom. Dave Wright able to tuck in behind Joe, and they're side by side for second as we go through turns 3 and 4. Tyler gets a little loose on the bottom, has to get out of it, loses his momentum. Now he's able to sneak in behind Dave Wright, throws a little block on Bryn George, who's trying to get a run on the outside of Josh Carver, and we got a battle back here for third. 3 cars under a blanket. Josh Carver and Bryn George continue to fight side by side, and now we got a side-by-side battle for the lead yet again. Dave Wright makes another big jump underneath Joe Wright, trying to get the position as they work their way through turns 3 and 4. Side-by-side battle for the lead coming off of turn number 4. Dave Wright's got a little bit of an advantage on the bottom, but here comes Joe Wright with the push from Tyler Aspinall to give Joe another lap lead and denying the 24 of a lap. Josh Carver was down on the white line. Looked like he was trying to hook the line, trying to get the car to turn a little bit better. Got it a little loose. He lost all his momentum, and he's fallen back quite a bit. Now Tyler Aspinall challenging Joe Wright for the lead, as Aspinall is going to use a little bit of a side draft to try that pull that 82 backwards as they come across the line this time. Joe Wright will be your leader, but just by a hair, as Aspinall's trying to take the lead away on that low lane. Dave Wright, though, continuing to stay right there with his brother, trying to move him forward as we got almost 3 wide racing behind. And, Aspinall moves up in front of Chris Wheeler. Chris Wheeler catches the wall. And now Wheeler's sliding backwards as Dave Wright's taking another peek to the inside of Joe. And as they come across the line, Joe is still going to be leading by just a hair. Now Aspinall down to the bottom, trying to give Dave Wright the advantage. You got Josh Carver trying to give a push here as well. Now Aspinall moves back up to the high side. That's going to allow Carver to get a little bit of a draft here. Try to move him forward. Now Dave Wright is all by himself on the outside, getting freight trained by that high line. Now Aspinall looking to the high side of Joe Wright as they come through turns 1 and 2. Josh Carver move him up into the 4th position. And the caution is out as we see Joe Wright just barely catch the wall there. And that's lap 15. That will be your stage break. So the winner of the stage will be Joe Wright. Tyler Aspinall in 2nd, Bryn George, Josh Carver, Dave Wright, Chris Wheeler, Jacob Bowen, Stoney Benfield, Rob Hamilton, and Eddie Morris round out your top 10. So the playoff point will go to Joe Wright. And the bonus points 10-1 in the order that they finished. And we'll bring up the ticker so you can see your top 10. We see a couple cars out there with a little bit of damage on them. See the right side of the 82 has some damage. I know the left side does too. I'm sorry, we see the left side has damage. We know the right side does too as he got up into the wall just a little bit. The 22, Chris Wheeler catching the wall. Eddie Morris catching the wall. Here comes everybody down onto pit road. Let's see if we can catch that race off of pit road. Looks like Joe's not going to use his reset, just going to leave the damage on there. Doesn't look like it was affecting his car too much. Actually, looks like he's going to stay in pit road now to get that damage fixed. So Stoney Benfield will win the race off pit road, followed by Bryn George, Josh Carver, Tyler Aspinall, Rob Hamilton, Ed DeBoer, Stan Mayberry, Jacob Bowen. As we see Eddie Morris on pit road still, trying to get that damage fixed. Dave Wright just took off. Joe Wright still on pit road, continuing to get that damage fixed. Brady Floyd also getting some more of his damage fixed, along with Austin Green and Chris Wheeler. Wheeler's now down away, so Joe Wright looks like he had a little heavier damage than we first thought he did, as he's been stationary for quite a while now, just over a minute now, trying to get as much of that damage fixed up as we see the pace car coming off of turn number 4, and he's going to be down and away. Again, giving the lead to the 75 of Stoney Benfield. Now let's pull Joe in, see how he's, what happened there. Oh, looks like he is locked in that room and I'm not able to move him around. So let's pull in Eddie Morris, see how Eddie's race is going here. Hey, Eddie, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
Hey, buddy. How's it going?
Man, it's going well. Looks like you were doing pretty well until you made a little contact with the wall and kind of pushed you backwards. But it looks like you got that all fixed up in the pits there. How do you like your chances moving forward?
Oh, man. If we were in any other car but this one, I'd say pretty good. But these next gens are something else. But yeah, I had 22 seconds of optionals, and I got that taken care of. So I guess we'll see. It's kind of hard to pass in these things, but we'll figure something out.
Yeah, I was trying to bring Joe in to talk to him, but he's stuck in another race lobby. I'm not able to move him around, but looks like he had quite a bit of damage there too. So It might be something to look forward to because a lot of drivers are struggling out there and a lot of damage to that right side. Are these cars
Yeah,
getting
like
really?
I said.
Are these cars getting really pushy in traffic?
Oh yeah, man, these things are horrible in traffic. They're like dump trucks. Like they're pushy as all get out. And yeah, I didn't think I got into the wall all that much, and it was 22 seconds. So it's interesting to see the damage and stuff like that. So
Well, Eddie, good luck out there. Hopefully, we'll talk to you at the end, and we'll see what you can do moving forward.
all right, appreciate you, brother.
So that was Eddie Morris, driver of the 8 machine out there. You get a little insight of what's going out on the track as Stoney Benfield's going to lead him down to the restart zone on the inside. Bryn George to the outside. Josh Carver, Tyler Aspinall make up row number 2, and Rob Hamilton and Eddie DeBoer, who Hamilton was involved in that first incident, now he's up into the 5th position. So we'll see what he's able to do here as the pace car takes that hard left-hand turn on the pit road. Green flag's back in the air. Great jump for the 75 of Stoney Benfield as he's going to lead him across the line easily. Josh Carver with the great move up in the 2nd. Looking to the outside, trying to challenge. Here comes Aspinall, though, trying to stick a nose underneath Josh Carver. They make their way down the backstretch. Now Aspinall moves up to the high side, trying to work with Benfield. Here comes Carver down to the bottom, trying to take that position away. Aspinall looks to the middle for a second. We're almost just 3 wide as Benfield decided to pull out of that one. And, oh, Rob Hamilton. Sorry, that's Austin Green. Got really loose all by himself. Able to hold on to it, but going to lose quite a few positions. Nope, I take that back. That was Rob Hamilton in the 5 that got loose. As here comes Tyler Aspinall looking down to the inside of Carver. Trying to take the lead away from that 3 machine. And no, your eyes do not deceive you. That is a black number 3 Goodwrench Mustang. Bryn George giving that 3 a big shove down the front stretch to move him solidly into the lead and try to get around Aspinall himself. And Bryn's going to clear Aspinall as they come off of turn number 2. And these 3 cars now looking like they're starting to check out a little bit. As Jacob Bowen moved himself into the 4th position. He's looking underneath Stoney Benfield right now. He's had some help there for a moment as DeBauer was giving him a push. And Eddie Morris now up into the mix as well. Aspinall making another move down underneath Bryn George. Trying to take that 2nd place away, but does not have the momentum or the help to move himself forward as we're seeing a lot of drafting playing key here. Seems like if you don't have any help, you're not going to be able to move yourself forward. Oh, it looks like I do apologize. Looks like my iRacing is currently crashing. Bear with me for a second. I will be right back with you as we get this fixed. And we are back from our little commercial break there. As up front, Bryn George is now taking the lead over Josh Carver and Tyler Aspinall, with Jacob Bowen moving up into fourth and Eddie Morris sneaking his way into fifth. And now we've got a 5-car breakaway up at the front. And Joseph Wright leading this second pack right now. Austin Green, Chris Wheeler, Ed DeBauer, Dave Wright, Rob Hamilton, Stan Mayberry, all back here in this pack. Stoney Benfield, who was our leader when we went back green flag racing, has fallen all the way back to 13th. And then Brady Floyd, all by himself on track, still heavily damaged, trying to hold on and salvage what he can, see if he can get a reset if we get another caution. But back up front, Tyler Aspinall's now falling back to the 5th position as, the 3 gets turned around. Jacob Bowen around as well. Aspinall all involved. Caution is out. And that is the break that Brady Floyd needed. Was not what the front runners wanted to see. And that's going to bring up another wreckage rewind. And we see coming off the corner, Josh Carver comes up into the wall, cuts down across the 28. Eddie Morris gets a little piece of it, but the worst of all is Tyler Aspinall, who comes in and just clobbers the 28 machine, gets into the outside wall, comes back across the track, barely misses the 8 of Eddie Morris. See Carver coming up into the wall, and Chris Wheeler catches Jacob Bowen as well. He thought he was through, but was not able to get all the way through there, and he makes heavy contact with that 28 machine. And I think see how close this really was for Eddie Morris. It's right along here with Eddie. This is the nose. Right off the back bumper now, and that was Jacob Bowen. I'm sorry. I want to ride along with Eddie Morris there. Yeah, tough break for Eddie. Able to sneak right on through there. And I think the toughest break of all would be the 22 of Chris Wheeler, who definitely thought he was through this one. And just the smoke was not able to see the 28 of Jacob Bowen. So Ed Bower and Eddie Morris stay out on track. They're going to be 1-2 here. I take it back. Everybody did come down pit road here. So Eddie was the first one. Ed DeBauer was the first one to come off pit road. Looks like he took fuel only. Then Eddie Morris, first one with tires, comes off second. Bryn George, Tyler Aspinall, and Joe Wright up into the 5th position. Joe still with a little bit of damage to that car, so holding on to that reset as long as he can. Josh Carver had to take his reset. He's got a fresh car now. Speaking of fresh cars, the 20 of Brady Floyd now out there with a fresh car. No, he doesn't have a fresh car. I take that back. He's still heavily damaged, so still holding on to that reset a little bit longer. We see the front end of Dave Wright also has a little bit of damage to it as that's pushed up just a little bit. But your leader, Eddie DeBauer, one of the cleaner cars on track. See Chris Wheeler heading back down onto pit road. Opting to top off this time. And Ed DeBauer choosing the outside for the restart. We've seen that outside lane really not get good jumps. So it's kind of interesting that he's going to choose the high side on this restart. Eddie Morris down on the bottom. Tyler Aspinall and Bryn George. Actually, Bryn George in third, Tyler Aspinall fourth. Then Joe Wright fifth. With Stan Mayberry up into the sixth position. So it'll be interesting to see just how good of a jump that 88 machine can get on the 8 of Eddie Morris. Again, thanks for joining us and sticking around through the technical difficulties as we get ready to go back green flag racing. Green flag is back in the air. And DeBauer and Tyler Aspinall get a great jump and get out to the lead here as Eddie Morris is going to stick in third. Bryn George up into fourth, and then Joe Wright making the big moves on the bottom. Oh, now Joe's going to get loose down on the bottom all by himself. Comes back up the track. Jacob Bowen with some issues as he's around on the backstretch. Caution is back out. It's going to bring up another wreckage rewind. So we take a look to see what happened to the 28 machine here. Single car accident, so it might have been just a single car spin. And you see Joe Wright losing it. Oh, the 15. Gets loose, comes down into Jacob Bowen. The 15 catches that inside wall, but continues on. But we just caught the end of that, so hard impact there for that 15 machine. And a tough break again for Jacob Bowen, who was involved in one just a moment ago. Now he's going to have to come back down pit road and get some more damage fixed. Eddie Morris coming down pit road. Joe Wright, Dave Wright, Austin Green, who was involved in that, obviously on pit road. As we continue to be under caution here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Again, don't forget to join us tomorrow night as the Mayhem Modifieds take off at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, followed by the SCSRA Xfinity Series from Atlanta Motor Speedway as well. Thursday night, we'll have the Thunderstruck Late Model Series, followed by Friday Original Rebels Extreme Xfinity Series. Extreme Xfinity on Friday night will be from Myrtle Beach Speedway. One of my favorite tracks personally, a track that I used to go visit quite often. Unfortunately, the track has since been demolished and replaced. But it lives on here in iRacing, as do many tracks that have unfortunately gone to the wayside. And then Saturday night, we have the Send It Cup Series with the Original Rebels. And Sunday, you have your truck doubleheader. You're not going to want to miss that. As this Sunday night, we'll have two races from the new and improved Phoenix Motor Speedway, or Phoenix International Raceway, excuse me. So you're not going to want to miss that. A lot of these guys are going to be racing that track for the first time. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle it. Plus, on Sunday night, it is the round of 8. We'll be cutting from 8 to 4. So you don't want to miss that. That is the original Rebels Outlaw Truck Series and Sunday Night Truck Series starting at 8 p.m. And then Monday, as of course, we have our Monday Night Mayhem here with Extreme Forces Racing League. As the lights on the pace car should be shutting off this time. We'll be re-racking them, restacking them, and getting ready to refire them here at Atlanta. What's Eddie going to do this time on the restart? Ed's going to choose the high side yet again, putting Tyler Aspinall down on the bottom. Bryn George going to be right behind him with Josh Carver coming to the restart. We see Joe Wright, Eddie Morris, Rob Hamilton, Austin Green just coming off pit road now. And looking at the time on pit road, looks like it was just fuel only for those drivers. Minus Austin Green, who's still on pit road getting some damage fixed. Let's see what Tyler Aspinall can do here. See if he's able to get a good jump here on Ed DeBauer. Try to move himself into the lead. Or is that 3 of Josh Carver going to work together and get them out to the front as the pace car takes that hard left-hand turn onto pit road? And immediately Eddie DeBauer to the loud pedal, green flag back in the air. Him and Josh Carver waste no time on the high side. And they are starting to check out just a little bit on this restart. As the field really gets spread out here. Tyler Aspinall in 3rd place. Trying to find some help from behind. Here comes Bryn George up to his back bumper, trying to give him a little bit of a push. Dave Wright back there has Stan Mayberry all over his back bumper, trying to push him forward. Move them out. Now Josh Carver looking down to the inside of Ed DeBauer as they come through the front stretch and to the stripe. And Josh Carver is going to take the lead away. As Tyler Aspinall is now stocking the 88 of DeBauer. Now Tyler's going to move up to the high side. So they come off a turn number 2. And there goes, oh, Tyler had a little connection issue now. He's down the bottom. Bryn George has to slide up right in front of Dave Wright, who's going to jump down to the bottom. And they're going to be 3 wide as they come through turns 3 and 4. With DeBauer being the big loser here on this restart, starting out in 1st and falling all the way back into 6th. Tyler Aspinall now challenging Josh Carver for the lead. So they come off of turn number 2. Oh, Carver gets a little loose, able to hold on to it. Aspinall, again, with a little connection issue, but he's going to clear Josh Carver as they come through turns 3 and 4. Is Carver going to cross him over? Meanwhile, right behind, here comes Dave Wright in that 24 machine coming down to the inside as Carver is trying to fight back on the high side to take that lead back away. As they come through turns 1 and 2, they are side by side, 1st through 4th, down the backstretch. And Aspinall's hoping for a little bit of push here from the 24 machine of Dave Wright. But you got 3 cars lined up on the high side versus 2 on the bottom. That's going to be an advantage to the high side as they come back down through the front stretch. So we have just 30 laps to go here as we see Austin Green coming off of pit road. Bryn George trying to challenge again on that high side. And now the high side is going to be lined up. That's going to put Aspinall in some trouble here as he's continuing to slide back. Mayberry's getting a little push now from the 24 Dave Wright. And these cars, because of the way these cars are designed, they create such a big bubble behind them that you don't actually have to be up on the back bumper to push these cars forward. All you have to be is near that back bumper to get a good push going. And you're seeing that right now as Dave Wright's pushing Stan Mayberry up to the front, trying to challenge Josh Carver for the lead. Here comes Prince George, though, back on the bottom with no help. Here comes Chris Wheeler. Where'd he come from? He's coming by Tyler Aspinall on the low side. Dave Wright throws a big block on wheels as they come off of turn number 4, and Bryn George trying to use that momentum to move themselves forward. John Rowe in the chat says, let's go, Humpy Wheeler. And Wheeler, who just came out of nowhere, moves himself up into the top 5 for the first time tonight as he's challenging with Dave Wright. Dave Wright, though, down on the bottom underneath Bryn George, trying to take that second position away, but with no help on the bottom. Wheels is going to have the advantage here as they come into turn number 3. And that's a frustrating feeling for that 24 of Dave Wright with nobody to go with him. He's trying to work as much side draft as he can, trying to take the air off the spoiler, the car to his outside, trying to get the traction off those back wheels, but just not able to get close enough to really take that momentum away as he's going to slide up in front of Aspinall into the 5th position. Eddie Morris now up in this little group here with Stoney Benfield. Eddie currently rocking the 8th position, trying to get himself back up to the front. As Josh Carver has a battle on his hands now. Bryn George trying to take that lead away. Here comes Chris Wheeler trying to give a bit of a push now. As we take a look off the front bumper of Chris Wheeler, he gets a little bit loose on the outside, and he's going to get freight train now on that bottom lane because he had to lift out of it. Now he's going to fall in line behind Dave Wright. Now Dave Wright trying to get moving to the front here. A big lift again out of Chris Wheeler as Tyler Aspinall is able to get around him here. And Bryn George is going to take over the lead. Oh, Sid Mayberry gets loose off the corner, slides down onto the apron. Chris Wheeler now. Oh, some contact between Chris Wheeler and Mayberry. Wheeler catches the wall. Able to hold on to it, though. No harm, no foul. Just losing a couple positions. Going to have a little bit of damage to the right side of that machine. But looks like he's going to continue on. Yes, Jeffrey Bowen says the 45 is Barry Blinky tonight, and he is. Has now moved Dave Wright up into the 3rd position, with Tyler Aspinall right behind him, trying to get those two back towards the front. A little further back in the field, we see Joe Wright leading this last group with Jacob Bowen and Ed DeBauer. We know Joe's got quite a bit of damage to that 82 machine. He's trying to get himself back up to the front, but right now, we've got a battle back for the lead as Josh Carver trying to take position from Bryn George, and Bryn loses the momentum up on that high side. Here comes Carver on the bottom. Again, no help. Who's Dave Wright going to help here as they come through the front stretch? As we approach 20 laps to go. Dave Wright giving that big push to Bryn George. Move Dave Wright up in the 2nd position. Dave trying to get his first win of the season here. And he's trying to put himself in position to do so. As now Tyler Aspinall shuffles Josh Carver back into 4th. And Stan Mayberry having to take evasive maneuvers to keep from running in the back of that 3. That's going to allow Stoney Benfield to pull up underneath Stan Mayberry to try to take away that 5th position, which he will. Eddie Morris in the back here, trying to get his way around the 68, trying to move himself back to the front. As Stoney Benfield now moves up into 4th around the 3 machine, and we see the side of that 3 having quite a bit of damage to the right side where he caught the wall a little bit earlier. Looks like that's actually hurt him quite a bit as now Aspinall continues to have a bit of a connection issue. Stoney Benfield trying to get around that 45 machine. And here comes the move Thought Dave Wright was going to try to challenge for the lead. Bryn George, though, with the strong move as we have actually 20 laps to go here tonight at Atlanta. Here comes Stoney Benfield moving himself into the top 3. And Dave Wright trying to defend. Now they're 3 wide. Coming down the backstretch. Oh, some contact between Dave Wright and Stoney Benfield. And then Josh Carver making a little contact with Benfield. Everybody keeps moving in the right direction, though. Oh, Eddie Morris and the 68 with some hard contact. Eddie made some hard contact with the outside wall, and that's going to shake up the back here. Up front, though, Dave Wright trying to make a move around that 7 machine. The 7 goes low to break the draft and throws a big block. Here comes Tyler Aspinall back on the outside of Stoney Benfield, trying to retake that 3rd position and trying to take 2nd away as he's got a great run out there. Trying to get by Dave Wright as they come off of turn number 4. And Aspinall is going to move right around Dave Wright with a huge run on the outside. Here comes Dave Wright firing back on the inside with a little bit of help from Benfield. Bryn George also moving down to the bottom here, trying to give the draft to the 24. But Aspinall is going to get right on by, and here comes Benfield getting around the 24 machine as well. So now Tyler Aspinall trying to put himself in position to win the race here, but Bryn George trying to deny everybody here as they come across the line for just 17 laps to go here in Atlanta. Dave Wright all over the back bumper of Stoney Benfield trying to get himself back up onto the podium. As now Benfield gets loose off the corner. Able to hold on to it, though. That's going to allow Dave Wright to get a little bit of a run here coming through turns 3 and 4. And we got a yellow flag out on track. Couple cars around. The 82 of Joe Wright. Saw Chris Wheeler around as well. That's going to bring up another wreckage rewind. See if we can see what happened between Joe Wright and Chris Wheeler here down the backstretch. Oh, the 86 gets really, really loose. I don't know if there was a bump from the 22 or what. And, yeah, just no room. It's coming to the end of the race. People are trying to make as many moves as they can. Don't know if there was going to be another yellow, so they're trying to take advantage of the situations, and 3 cars trying to occupy the same piece of real estate. Let's ride along with Chris Wheeler here for a second. I want to see if there's any contact between him and the 68, or if the 68 just got loose by himself. It looks like he got loose right in front of Eddie Morris, and yeah, Chris just along for the ride, just didn't know where to go. It's a helpless feeling. But we've got the entire field on pit road. Ooh, Tyler Aspinall missed his pit stall. Had to back up. As Brady Floyd, the first car off pit road, followed by Josh Carver, Stoney Benfield, Bryn George, the 68 Stan Mayberry, and Tyler Aspinall coming out in 6th. A little questioning of position here in the back. We'll see how it all sorts out. But the real big winner right now is Brady Floyd, who was involved on the lap 1 incident. Went multiple laps down. Saved his reset for the end. And right now, that's paying dividends to this machine, as he is up into the first place position. Did not take tires on that pit stop. Everybody else behind him did, with the exception of Joe Wright, who looks like Joe only took 2 tires here. Let's pull Joe in and see if we can get a quick word with him. Hey, Joe, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me? Man, tough break there, but I know you were saving that reset, and it was a good thing you did, as you were able to use it there. It looked like just some hard racing, some drivers, just three drivers occupying the same piece of real estate. Is that kind of what happened out there?
I let the guy in front of me who swerved left and right and slammed into the wall and all this other craziness that was happening. I have no clue what he was doing. But early in the race, I was leading the race, and after the competition caution got slammed into the wall, so that was fun too. So it's just a lot of stupid things happening.
Yeah, well, I see you had quite the slope or quick pit stop there. Did you take two tires for this run, or are you on none?
I went none.
Well, let's see if you can drive yourself back up to the front here, Joe. I know you got a lot of work to do in short time, so we'll let you get to it. Good luck out there, and hopefully we'll talk to you at the end. That's Joe Wright, very displeased. I think when he goes back and watches the replay, he'll see exactly what happened there as he's going to come down pit road and top off in case we have a green-white checker. Lights are off on the pace car, though. Brady Floyd will be your leader. Josh Carver is going to choose Brady Floyd is going to choose the outside this time, putting Josh Carver to the inside. Stoney Benfield and Bryn George will be your second row. So when we take the green flag, we'll have just 12 laps of racing left. Couple drivers to look out for, though, starting more towards the back. Tyler Aspinall, who's been strong all night, going to be restarting 8th. Eddie Morris back in 9th. Jacob Bowen, haven't really talked too much about him tonight, but he's always a threat towards the end. He's currently in 7th. And, of course, Joe Wright, who looks like he did take tires this time, starting from the back. Trying to get his way back up to the front. He was our pole sitter, so we know he has the speed. It's just a matter of, does he have the time? As we come off of turn number 4, pace car takes that hard left-hand turn on the pit road. Brady Floyd comes to the restart zone, gets immediately on the gas. Green flag is back out. And a great jump for that 20 machine. Going to leave up the battle to Josh Carver and Bryn George, as Carver is going to have the advantage on the inside. Is he going to have the momentum off the corner as Bryn George has the help on the outside? Here comes Dave Wright trying to give the big push to the 7 machine, and Josh Carver is going to fall back in to the 4th position with Stoney Benfield now coming into the picture. And Stan Mayberry to the outside. They're going to be 3 wide as they come off of turn number 4. Tyler Aspinall nowheres to go, trying to figure out where to go. They're going to be 4 wide coming down the front stretch. 11 laps to go here. They're still 3 wide back here. Josh Carver, the meat and the sandwich. Stan Mayberry trying to use the bumper here to try to loosen up that 3 machine. Here comes Eddie Morris now down to the bottom, and Dave Wright was looking down to the inside of Bryn George. Oh, sorry, Benfield gets turned by Aspinall. But they keep going, no caution. 10 laps to go. Eddie Morris get a chunk of that as well, but up front, it's getting wild. They're back 3 wide. Dave Wright now. Oh, the leader into the wall. Turned around. Bryn George around as well. The 60 has Stan Mayberry around. Benfield involved as well. Joe Wright getting through it. Josh Carver will be your leader as he comes and takes the yellow flag. What a wild turn of events as your leader caught the wall and spun down in front of the entire field. We're going to have to take a look at this wreckage rewind to see exactly what happened to the 6 machine. Tough break. I'm sorry, the 20 machine. He's been running the 6 all season, so tough break as they come off of turn number 4. We see Carver and Dave Wright make some contact there. Dave Wright doing a good job keeping it off the wall. And then you see Brady Floyd just catches the wall, loses it all by himself, comes down in the Bryn George. Stan Mayberry caught up in that as well. Josh Carver and Dave Wright staying up high. Tyler Aspinall as well staying high, getting through it. You see Eddie Morse sneaking through Ed DeBauer. And then as the cars come sliding back up the track, Stony Benfield just nowheres to go. Tough break. Tough break for all our leaders there. And that's going to change everything. Moving Josh Carver up into the lead. With Dave Wright and Tyler Aspinall behind him. Jacob Bowen up into the 4th position, as I mentioned before. Watch out for him. He's always there at the end. And DeBauer up into 5th. And Joe Wright. This is a great break for Joe Wright, as he's able to get through that and move himself up into the 6th position. Oh, a lot of damage to that 3 machine. The whole right side of, the whole left side of that 3, but more importantly, the left front. One of the most critical parts of the car when it comes to aerodynamics. Right side of that 3 machine all tore up as well. And it's kind of surprising to me that he doesn't come down pit road. I know it's towards the end of the race, but I don't think that's going to really help him. As we take a look, due to the magic of iRacing, we take a look, 360 view around this car. The back end all shoved up, but we see that damage to that left front. And to me, that's the most concerning thing, along with the damage to the entire right side of this car. So a tough break for this 3 machine. Let's see if he's able to hold on as we go on. We'll survey some more damage. We see a lot of damage to the 24 of Dave Wright as well. The whole right side, not as bad as we see in the 3 machine. That left front, pretty clean. Tyler Aspinall also has some damage to the right front. And I think Jacob Bowen might be one of the cleanest now. I take that back. He's not one of the cleanest cars on track. A lot of damage to the right side of that machine as well. So it looks like the 88, currently the cleanest car on track. As we're going to restart with about 5 laps to go here. And it's going to be anybody's game. Again, don't forget to join us here on Intensity Broadcasting 7 nights a week for live iRacing coverage from the Extreme Forces Leagues on Mondays and Tuesday, our doubleheader on Wednesday with the Mayhem Modifieds and the SCSRA. Thursday, you have your Thunderstruck Late Model Series. Friday, the Extreme Original Rebels Xfinity Series. Saturday, the Send It Cup Series. And Sunday, your truck doubleheader with yours truly, as the Original Rebel season comes to a close with the Send It Cup Series and the Outlaws and the Rebels trucks on Sunday. You're not going to want to miss one moment of the action here on Intensity Broadcasting. Josh Carver chooses the inside. Dave Wright chooses the outside. Again, I'm concerned with the aerodynamic disadvantages that 3 machine has as they come to the restart zone. Mick Olofsson, all the dirt on Twitter, says, "Let's go, Eddie." See what Eddie can do here is come off of turn number 4. Green flag is back in the air. We are back racing. And Jacob Bowen trying to give the bumper move treatment to that 24 of Dave Wright as they get into turns 1 and 2. Dave Wright's going to slide down in front of Tyler Aspinall. Now he's going to move up the track, up in front of Jacob Bowen, leaving Tyler Aspinall all by himself on the low line. And we're starting to see that the 3 does have the disadvantage as they come up the speed. Dave Wright gets blocked here. Here comes Joe Wright up on the high side. They're 3 wide as they come down the front stretch. Jacob Bowen, David Wright, Joe Wright, 3 wide. Now Eddie Morris up on the high side. Here comes Joe on the high side with a fresh car and fresh tires. He's going to clear Josh Carver as they come down the backstretch. Josh Carver's going to fight back on the outside. Here comes Eddie Morris, though, trying to fight back. Jacob Bowen into the mix as well. Dave Wright falls back in the 5th. They come across the line 3 laps to go. New players into the race here. Here comes Bryn George with a head of steam on that high side. Jacob Bowen, Josh Carver, Dave Wright battling 3 wide. Bowen pushing up the track just a little bit, catches Josh Carver. Able to hold on to it, but Joe Wright, now he's Eddie Morris all over his back bumper. Bryn George here in the mix as well as they come through turns 3 and 4. Eddie Morris is going to look down to the inside off of turn number 4. Joe Wright with that momentum on the high side. 2 laps to go. Here comes Dave Wright back in the mix as well, trying to get up back onto the podium. As the gaggle of cars behind race hard. See the 3 of Josh Carver get really loose off the corner. As they come off of turn number 4, white flag is going to be in the air for Joe Wright. Is he going to be able to hold off Eddie Morris for one more lap? Now they're starting to separate as the caution is out. Not the white flag, but the caution came out. I'm not sure what brought out the caution there. Bring it to our wreckage rewind, see if we can see exactly what happened here. And now I see what happened. Nope, I didn't bring up the wreckage rewind. I apologize, but we see what happened here. And looks like it's between Jacob Bowen and Tyler Aspinall and Chris Wheeler. Bowen just misses the corner, comes up the track, almost gets into the side of the 22. And when he does that, he turns back down the track to avoid the 22, comes down across the nose of Tyler Aspinall and gets spun around. And that's what brought out the yellow flag, and that's going to bring up a restart here. As we all know, the most exciting words in racing: green, white, checker. John Rose says Wheeler should get a top 5 tonight. Wheeler, currently sitting in 6th, only has to make one position to get up into that top 5. Has quite a few damaged cars in front of him. A couple cars have retired. We see the 75 of Stoney Benfield has retired, along with the 15 of Austin Green. Rob Hamilton currently being scored 1 lap down. And Jacob Bowen being involved in 3 incidents tonight, with a lot of damage to the right side of his car. I'm going to be restarting in 11th. And Mick Olofsson says, this will be a crazy finish. Mick, it sure will. As we know, Joe's won a couple races already this season. Eddie Morris still seeking his first win. Dave Wright sitting back and forth, also seeking his first win. So could we see a repeat winner? Or are we going to see a first-time winner? Let us know who you think it's going to be in the comment section. Eddie has no problem using the bumper. We've seen that before, and Joe Wright's going to take that high side with his brother behind him. We put Eddie Morris down on the low side. Again, Joe does have the freshest tires out there, so we'll see if that is an advantage on that high side. See the 68 machine missing his whole front bumper. So that's going to change the dynamics of the back here. As the pace car gets ready to take that hard left-hand turn on the pit road. For our green-white checker finish. Pace car pulls down on the pit road. Joe Wright's going to lead him back to the restart zone. Green flag is back in the air. We are back racing, and big jump in the middle. A bunch of cars had to check up from running each other over. But Joe Wright gets the big jump ahead of Eddie Morris and his brother Dave Wright. Dave fighting on that high side. Oh, gets loose, comes down. Tyler Aspinall up into the wall as well. Another car spinning down on the bottom. We got mayhem on the backstretch. Jacob Bowen caught up as well. Another yellow flag is out, setting up another chance at a green-white checker. As we saw Dave Wright get really, really loose off the corner by himself on that high side. And let's see if we can break this one down a little bit. We see the 24 try to pinch down the 3. Looks like there might have been a little bit of contact between those two cars. Because of the positioning of the 3, it dumped a bunch of air onto the rear spoiler of that 24, which really loaded up the back end, got him really, really loose, pushing the back end down as hard as it did. While that was going on, Tyler Aspinall got hit up into the outside wall. Then we see the 88 of DeBauer come down across Dave Wright's nose. He catches the inside wall. Aspinall comes down. We're going to rewind just a little bit. Looks like Aspinall bounces off the wall and down into the 24 of Dave Wright, who thought he was through it and missed it. And then I think Dave Wright might have get caught up with one other car here. Yeah, that's where he comes across and catches the 28 of Jacob Bowen. I think a real telling issue here, or a real telling replay here. We'll be riding along with Dave Wright. Yeah, tough break for Dave. So you can see, actually, we can actually see there might have been a little bit of net code. If you look at the left front quarter panel there, you see it crunch up a little bit. Then as the 3-car pulls away, it fixes itself, showing that the server thought there was a little bit of contact between him and the 3, and by the time that happened, it was too late. He was around and then gets caught by Aspinall, sending him back up across the track into Jacob Bowen. So with that being said, we're going to have another chance of a green-white checker. John Rose says Wheeler in the top 5. That he is. That he is. So we do have 3 attempts total at a green-white checker. We've only used 2 of them. So it's not over, folks, by any means. David Wright is currently out along with Jacob Bowen. So a couple drivers out of the race here tonight. Drivers who are having such strong runs. Tough break for Dave Wright. This time Joe Wright's going to take the inside, leaving Eddie Morris on the high side. Bryn George going to be right there behind Joe. And Josh Carver, with that damaged car, still sitting in 4th. And, of course, Chris Wheeler, currently sitting in 6th. He's going to restart behind Josh Carver. Actually, Chris Wheeler is in the 4th position. Or 5th position. I'm sorry, I didn't see him there on the bottom. John Rowe, I apologize. As the pace car is getting ready to restart here. Joe Wright again on the inside. Eddie Morris to the high side. Pace car pulls off. Green flag is back in the air. Joe Wright again with another great restart on that low side. Tucks up high up in front of Eddie Morris. And they're going to be 1-2 single file as we see the battle behind between Josh Carver and Bryn George. Again, Carver with quite a bit of damage to that machine. Not able to quite keep up with the front 3 as well as he'd hope. But using that draft, he's able to hang tight right there with him. Now he's going to look to the inside of Bryn George. White flag is out this time. 1 lap to go. Eddie Morris trying to get around Joe Wright to get that win. His first win of the season as Josh Carver looking to the inside. Bryn George not able to make that move. Does Eddie Morris have anything for Joe Wright here? As Eddie's going to look down to the bottom. Joe's going to block that run down off the corner as they come across the line. Joe Wright will be your winner for 2 weeks in a row here in the Extreme Forces Racing League, with Eddie Morris again coming home in 2nd place and Bryn George in 3rd. What a wild finish. Joe Wright was so disappointed at one point in this race, having to start back in the back. Decides to come in and take tires, and ended up being the winning move here. As Joe Wright is going to come and celebrate here on the front stretch. And slaps the wall in his celebration. There we go. Trying to find a good view of the burnouts here, and that's the best view we're going to find here. Joe Wright celebrates his win here at Atlanta. Let's take a look at our results. Again, Joe Wright will be your winner. Eddie Morris comes home second. Bryn George third. Ed DeBauer and Josh Carver, your top five. Sixth is going to be Brady Floyd, Rob Hamilton in seventh, Stan Mayberry, Tyler Aspinall, and Dave Wright. Jacob Owen, Stoney Benfield, and Austin Green. Let's bring in your third place finisher tonight, Bryn George. Bryn, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me? Man, congratulations on the third place finish. Hard fought third place finish. Things were getting wild there at the front. You led a few laps and looked like you might have had something for Josh Carver later on in the race, but it looks like he ran into some issues aerodynamically, and you were able to make it work for you to come home third. How hard was it to pass out there tonight? Because it seemed like there was a lot of aero push once you got behind another car.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Going down to the end there, we had the two green-white checkers, and that had changed the entire dynamic and the whole thought process coming down to the end. With those last couple of restarts, what were going through your mind there through the green-white checkers?
Couldn't really take anything away from it. But no, it was a good race. I led a good bit. Unfortunately, wrecked towards the end, and it kind of hurt my tires. I already took my last tire set, but I still had good pace, and I'm okay with third place.
Awesome, man. Well, again, congratulations on the podium tonight. Anybody you want to thank? Any shots you got to give before we let you go?
I'd like to shout out my teammate Brady Floyd. Shout out you for streaming, man. Thank you.
Man. We appreciate you here at Intensity Broadcasting, and hopefully we'll talk to you again soon as the season goes on.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
As your third place finisher, Bryn George. Let's bring in our second place finisher, Eddie Morris. Eddie, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
Hey, buddy, how's it going?
Man, quite a different race for you as compared to the winner tonight. Up at the front most of the race, had that little bit damage, fell back. Able to drive your way back up through the front. I know you were trying to get your first win of the season, but Joe just seemed to lead a little bit stronger. Do you think you would have had anything for him if you had a little bit of a longer run? Did those green-white checkers hurt you a little bit, or were you just kind of content running there in second?
If we'd have had a little bit longer green flag run there at the end, I'm not saying I would have passed him, but I'd have had a better shot at passing him. I was trying to in 3 and 4 there. I was definitely trying to send it in, and I felt the car start to wash up, so I let off of it and figured I'd take home second instead of wherever I may have ended up. So, but yeah, it was an eventful race. It was fun. So these cars are still garbage, but other than that, it was great.
And towards the middle of the race, there was one incident that happened right around you. You were able to sneak on through that one. It seemed like a lot of impatience tonight. Is that what you're seeing out there? Is that the best way to describe it? Just not a lot of patience and way too much take than give?
I mean, honestly, at this point, I think it's the car. I'm not saying everybody's not guilty of, taking too much or anything like that, because that's probably has something to do with it also. But like to pass in these cars, man, everywhere we've been, it's just been a task, and I'm just not a fan of these cars. But we'll move forward. That's my thoughts on it though. So I don't know.
Well, I know Mick Olofsson was a little disappointed because he said you have no problem using the bumper, and he was cheering for you to win. But did you think you could have used the bumper to get around Joe there at the end, or were you just trying to race him clean because he's a teammate?
I mean, if I probably could have, but then that would have been deliberately wrecking him because, like I said, it would have junked both of us. I think from the feel of the car and stuff. So, like I said, I just wanted to finish the race and finish with second. I'll take second any day of the week. And it's a lot different thing than last night was. The last night, man, those wheeling modifieds, they got those big air breathers, and I wrote him today and told him, my side of the story and everything. So I don't know. We'll see what goes from there. But yeah, total different situation. So
10-4. And again, congrats on the second place finish. Anybody you'd like to thank tonight? Anybody you got a shout out?
Intensity Broadcasting, the best broadcasters in the business. The guys in my Discord, going through, strategies and stuff like that. And Joe up there, man, did you catch that run we had? We were going 3 wide and all that stuff, man. We were
Of
hauling
course
it,
I
son.
did. Of course I did.
Man, we was hauling it. I hooked up with Joe. I was like, man, I'm just gonna follow him. If he wrecks, I'm wrecking too. So, but no,
Well,
man, that's it.
awesome job, man, and we'll see. We'll see if we can talk to you again next week.
All right, brother.
So that's your second place finisher, Eddie Morris. Let's bring in your winner tonight. 2 in a row, Joe. Joe, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
Is that what you're calling me now? That's
Well,
pretty fun.
right now I am. Yeah, I mean, you won last week at Talladega. You win tonight here at Atlanta after having not the greatest attitude towards the middle of the race when you got caught up in something that had
Dude.
nothing to do with you. When you go back and
up and
watch the replay, you'll notice that the 68 just got really, really loose off the corner, and he was kind of tank slapping it down the backstretch. But awesome run overall. I know when we talked to you for a second too, you didn't take any tires, and after talking to you, I see you immediately jump down pit road and take tires. Was that really the right strategy to come down and take those tires? Obviously it was because you won, but did you really think you might have been able to stay out there on old tires and still have a good finish?
Well, there was a couple more cautions, so I think it still probably would have worked out in my favor. The key to that, I guess, is getting on pit road when I did and being able to be ahead of those guys who were wrecking. So, and I told Eddie that under the caution. I'm like, I'm glad we got up here when we did, because it started getting a little crazy back there. So.
Crazy back there. You and Eddie, how about that run 3 wide that you guys had? He made a comment that you guys were hauling it, and you just, I don't know where that run came from. And 3 wide hadn't really been working too well tonight, but you guys were able to make that work. What was that? Was that something you just found out of nowhere?
Well, we flew up off of 4, and I think people were checking up maybe for people in front of them, so it looked better than it was. But yeah, I saw the opportunity there coming off of 4, and so I sent it, and well, it happened.
Yeah, and strategy worked out for you too. I know Dave not having the best night as well, getting caught up in something. But overall, a great finish here for the Intensity team.
Yeah, awesome. 1-2 again, me and Eddie. I wish Dave would have been there at the end, but tough luck happens sometimes. He was pinching pretty hard on Carver there. I think that's what cost him his position, as I looked back at it a minute ago. But yeah, awesome job to Eddie and myself, and I actually thought it was a great race. I thought it was fun. The fact that I had some animosity toward some people early in the race was probably not so fun, but it was fun. I had fun. And thanks to you, Josh, for broadcasting this every Tuesday night. I know the numbers aren't so great out here, but it's looking good. I enjoy hearing it and watching it back as well.
It was a good race overall, minus a little technical difficulty that I had in the middle of the race, but I appreciate all the fans that are still out there watching with us right now. So we did have people stick through that, and we appreciate that from. Before I let you go, I know you just threw your shout-outs there, but next week, out to Michigan. So you won Talladega, and you won here tonight. You won at Auto Club, which is the sister track to Michigan. How do you like your chances next week to make it 3 in a row?
Eddie's from Michigan, so hopefully he can't beat me there. But we'll see.
Well, I do know that it is one of your absolute favorite tracks on the service, so.
It sure is, yeah, man. I look forward to Michigan, Chicagoland, and California every year. So, yeah.
We'll have to see if we call you 3 in a row, Joe, next week. But congratulations on the win again. And any other shout outs you got to give tonight before we let you go?
Now, just shout out to Dean Qualley for putting this league on, and Intensity Broadcasting is always on the car in my heart. And thanks to you again for doing this, Josh. I know what it's like to sit there by yourself. It is not a fun deal. So thanks for doing it and giving this thing out to friends and family of these guys racing.
Absolutely, you should try it on Sundays. But no, that's always good racing too. So we do appreciate Joe again. Congratulations on the win, and I'm sure we'll talk to you again next week.
Thanks, buddy.
So there you have it. There's your winner tonight, Joe Wright. Again. Exciting race coming down to the end. A couple green-white checkers. That's going to shake up the points even more coming out of tonight as Chris Wheeler, your points leader, does finish in 6th. And we'll see how the points shake up coming into next week. Again, next week at Michigan, you're not going to want to miss that. To join us here for that tomorrow, You've got the Mayhem Modifies and the SCSRA. So doubleheader tomorrow night. Atlee Atman Weiss will have the call on that one. So you don't want to miss that. Join us tomorrow night as well. As always, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe, whether you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, or on Twitch. Follow us on Twitter as well, Intensity Broad 1. Atlee likes to post his questions. He's always has something to say. So check us out there as well. And of course, as our boy Atlee Atman Weiss would say, over and out.